By far, the easiest way to deploy a server-side application to AWS is to use Amazon's Elastic Beanstalk. It doesn't matter whether you've got a Tomcat app, a Spring Boot app, a Node app, a Python app, or even a Ruby app. All you have to do is package your application up in a zip file, configure it so it runs on port 5000, and I'm begging you, make sure it runs on port 5000, upload it to the Beanstalk, and boom, your application is deployed. You don't have to worry about EC2 instances. You don't have to worry about Docker containers. You don't have to worry about Fargate. You don't have to worry about the Elastic Kubernetes service. All you have to do is configure an environment for your Beanstalk application and upload that zip file, and boom, you are in business. And showing you exactly how to do that in 10 minutes or less, with most of that time just being waiting for AWS to provision its environment. That is exactly what we're going to do next. Okay, in this AWS Elastic Beanstalk tutorial, we're going to be deploying a Spring Boot application, but don't go away yet. I do have a tutorial that shows you how to deploy a node-based React application to Elastic Beanstalk, and I've also got another tutorial that shows you how to deploy a Python app to Elastic Beanstalk. So whatever flavor you want, I've got you covered. The bottom line is the steps are always the same. The first thing you got to do is just come into AWS and look for that Elastic Beanstalk. Click on it. I haven't created any applications yet, so you just click that beautiful gold button that says Create Application, and there's a few things you need to provide. I'm just going to be creating a web server environment. That essentially just means it's a server-side application that has HTTP ports exposed. So it could be a web application, which it typically is, but it could be a RESTful API too. I mean, if you really wanted to get crazy. I'm going to be demoing a little online exam application for this AWS certification sites that I've got called certificationexams.guru. So I'll call the application name certificationexams.guru. I'll make those dashes, and maybe I'll even just say Spring Boot app, Spring Boot Java, just to emphasize the type that it is. It'll create an environment object for me. Here's a little tip. That ends up becoming the name of the EC2 instance, the virtual server that gets created for you. Now, you don't have to touch that. That's the beauty of Elastic Beanstalk. But if you want to go in and check the logs or something like that, that is the, actually, you can even check the logs from the Beanstalk, but you know what I mean. If you want to go see that EC2 instance, you can. That will also be the domain name, Certification Exams Guru, Spring Boot Java.uswest2, elasticbeanstalk.com. Check the availability. Nobody's got it. Man, that's a win, but that's going to be your URL. Now, you can map an IP address to that if you really want to, but I'm not going to go there. You do have the ask of what platform. Now, of course, we're doing Java, Spring Boot, so you select Java, but look at the cornucopia of options. .NET on Linux, .NET on Windows, Docker, Go, Node, PHP, Python, Tomcat, and even Ruby. Now, by the way, Spring Boot applications are typically packaged in a Tomcat server, but you don't select Tomcat. That's just for deploying a WAR file. We're just going to select Java here. And you could just upload a zip file with your application in it, an application running on port 5000 with the management port on 5000 as well. Let me just remind you. But I don't recommend that initially. What I want you to do is just use the sample application and just verify that everything works. Once everything works, then upload your code. I'm going to use a single instance here, but notice that there's a variety of configuration presets you can have for high availability. I'm just going to use the single instance because that works on the free tier and I'm cheap. Okay, I click that beautiful gold button that says next, and now it's going to ask about roles. I got to create some roles. Don't panic, although I'm panicking a little bit. You just got to have some roles. You got to have a service role. And if you just accept the defaults, this will create it for you. Just look at the permissions you need to add. Go look at that JSON like you understand what it means. Click create role, and Boom, the role is created. And of course, we need an instance profile role too. So again, create role, accept the default. Click next, click finish, create role. And boom, it's done. And everything is pre-populated here. No, it's not. What went wrong? Something's broken. I'm just joking. Just click that little refresh button and there you go. Everything is done for you on this page. Click that next button. Now go to your instance settings. You're going to want to select a VPC. You've probably only got one. You may only have a default VPC. I'm going to select that one there. You need a couple of availability zones. Select at least two. You can select all four. I'm not going to judge you if you do. Notice there's even an option of an IP address, but I don't need that. I've got that URL and that's going to work fine. And if I want to map Route 53 to domain name here, super easy to do, barely an inconvenience. I'm not going to use a database here, but you can see it's fairly easy to set up and configure. I'll click next. We're almost done, trust me. Check the root volume, just going to accept the default. Don't need any special SSDs there. I'll scroll down, some monitoring, some security groups. I'll just use the default security group here. That's fine. That just allows the appropriate networking in so people can access it on port 80. Everything else here looks just fine. So I'm going to click the next button. Again, no health monitoring here other than the defaults. When do we want to update the platform? You can specify that. Email notifications, those will go to AWS at certificationexams.guru. Check that site out, especially if you want to get AWS certified. And I think that all looks good here. Check out those environment properties for Gradle and Maven. That might be helpful if you need to do some builds, but I think everything's going to be pre-packaged for us. I'm going to click the next button. I'm going to review the summary. That all looks fantastic to me. And I'm going to click create and boom, all of a sudden we now have this application ready to go. Now, by the way, this is going to take a few minutes. So this gives me a chance to preamble. As I said, I do have a certificationexams.guru if you want to get AWS certified. There's a variety of practice exams there. Should also mention I got another copy of Hibernate Made Easy coming out, my best-selling book on JPA. So if you're doing data persistence, Hibernate 7 came out, so check that out. That's right, Pickering is Springfield, which is all about where the original city of the Simpsons, Springfield, is based on. It's based on a town in Ontario, just outside Toronto, called Pickering. So check that out on Amazon. And I also helped out on Darcy DeClute's Scrum Master Certification Guide. So if you want to get Scrum certified, check this out. A lot of people are reading this book and scoring 100% on the exam. I got the product owner and the Scrum Master Certification exam after reading that. So check those out. I think things should be ready. Subscribe, like, comment, tell your friends about this. When you speak about me, say nice things. Join my newsletter to keep up with what's going on. And this should be done in just a second. Okay, we are deployed. Application available at Certification Exams, Guru, Spring Boot, Java. Do we believe that? Well, I'm going to click this button here and find out. And oh, look at this. Oh, SSL. Yeah, we haven't provisioned an SSL certificate yet. But if you just say, hey, continue to site, you're going to be just fine. And by the way, I do have tutorials on how to set up an SSL certificate in AWS. It's really easy to do, barely an inconvenience. And here is a basic Spring Boot application deployed for us. Benefits of AWS Elastic Beanstalk, easy to get started, maximum flexibility, managed platform. This all looks fantastic. So right now, I can just be happy that everything seems to be working. So what do we do next? Well, I actually want to deploy my own application. As you can see, I've got a little application here called Dad Jokes up there on GitHub, and I've actually pulled it down to my local file system as well. And anytime you want to deploy something to the Beanstalk, you need to have your application running on port 5000. So if you've got a Spring Boot application, I implore you to open up application properties and make sure that the management server port and the server port are both running on port 5000, not port 8080, not port 80, not port 8099, not port 8080, port 5000. If you don't do this, this is not going to work. You see, Nginx acts as a reverse proxy. That's the environment we're deploying to. That's what Beanstalk is supporting us with, Nginx. Nginx handles requests on port 80 and then sprays them to port 5000. So if your application is running on port 5000, you are in a world of hurt. So make sure it's on 5000. Do a Maven install once you've made those changes. And once that's done, just head over into the Walmart folder and you should see a jar file there. Oh, sorry, it's not Walmart, it's Target. Sorry, I'm Canadian. We don't have Targets in Canada. We only have Walmart, so I get confused. And there it is, app 1.0.jar just built. So here's what we do. We head over into the environment for our application. And then there's this beautiful gold button that says upload and deploy. This is it. Change things to port 5000, click upload and deploy. Choose that file, app 1.0.jar. Give it a reasonable version number. You notice that the tool is going to provision one instance for us. That makes me pretty happy. I'm going to click that beautiful deploy button and let's see what happens. Okay, it now says the deployment completed successfully, but I'm from Missouri. I need to be shown these things. So let's click on this link here, cross your fingers, and boom, there we go. Here is the template for certificationexam.guru. It says, what do you call a fish without an eye? Well, we know the answer to that. It's fish. And click next. Take a look at something else here. You can cheat. So what do you call a deer with no eyes? No eye deer. And why did the Java methods get a divorce? They had constant arguments. That's hilarious. By the way, this application here does have a number of actuators on it from Spring Boot. So you've got the health endpoint, metrics endpoint, memory used endpoint. You can do a thread dump. I've got a tutorial on how to add actuators to your environment. So feel free to go in and check those out. Is that memory used? Value right there. So definitely interesting stuff. Always add actuators to your applications. And by the way, this also has Swagger installed as well. So there's a little API in here if you actually want to deploy this application, and you can actually come in here and actually go in and test some of the environments here and just see what's going on with things like the JVM. Kind of a cool little program there. So you can see the memory, free memory, memory used, all super interesting. As I said, that's all up on Dad Jokes on my server there. But if you want to add Swagger or you want to add actuators to your Spring Boot project, which you really should do, I've got tutorials on them and you'll really enjoy them. And hopefully you also enjoyed this tutorial and you learned a thing. So if you did, leave a comment, like, subscribe. You know the rigmarole. Do all of that. And thanks for watching.